ओमज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुश्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललित सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये पंचाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। व्याप्तिर्यस्य निजे निजे निवसा पक्षे सपक्षे स्थितिः व्यावृत्तिश्च विपक्षतोक्त विषय शक्तिर्न वै बाध्यते नैवास्ति प्रतिपक्षयुक्तिरतुलं शुद्धं प्रमाणं समय भूयात् तत्त्वनिर्णयाय भगवान् आनन्दतीर्थो मुनि श्रीमदानन्दतीर्थार्य सन्मनस्सरसि भुवि अनुव्याख्यान नलिने चञ्चरी गतिमे मनः सनातनं रूपम् इहोपदर्शयन् आनन्दसिन्धुः परितप्रवर्धयन् अन्तस्तमस्तोमहरस्सराजतां चैतन्य रूपो विदुरद्भुतोदयः। Hare Krishna. Welcome you all to the next discussion on Vedānta Syamantaka. So yesterday we discussed about the supremacy of Vishnu. We also discussed about the other devatas, what is the position of other devatas, and how this supreme absolute truth that is spoken of in the Upanishads denotes Vishnu only and nobody else. So those points were dealt with in details yesterday with the Shruti Pramanas. And there are others like Rudra, Indra, Chandra, all by default those names mean the Supreme Lord only. So what is the problem with taking the names? So no, they are individual personalities also, and it is from the Supreme Lord that the names come to these people. So if somebody is Mahesha, Maha Isha, it is because of the original Mahesha that he has some potency from the Mahesha, so he is awarded the name. The Supreme Lord himself awards the name to him. That is why when the Vedic Suktas and Vedic Mantras are chanting, we are actually glorifying the Supreme Lord only and nobody else. This is the Purushottam Yoga, 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So without understanding Purushottam Yoga, then we will not be able to take advantage of Vedic literature and overcome the three modes of material nature. We will be stuck in the three modes only, and our tree of our banyan tree of material desires just will keep growing. So in order to properly overcome this, the Purushottam Yoga is very important to understand. So that is what we saw. We also saw that there are different kalpas, days of Brahma, in different modes. In Kalpas in mode of goodness, Lord Hari's glories are prominent. In Kalpas in mode of passion, Brahma's glories are prominent. And in Kalpas in mode of ignorance, Shiva's glories are prominent. So each of these deities, their glories are separately prominent in different Kalpas. So scriptures that are valid are Sadagamas, the genuine Shastras, and which are the genuine Shastras, the Shastras which are in line with Vedic authority. The Shastras which give the same message as the Vedas, they are this. One more thing to add here is that we can't just read Vedas also because they are too huge and all of it is not available at any point of time. Some parts of it is available. And there are various difficulties to understand them. The Bhashya, the language is quite difficult. So Itihasa Puranabhyam Vedam Samapobramait. Vedas and Itihasas and Puranas are mandatory to understand the Vedas. Without them, we cannot understand the Vedas independently. because they are quite difficult to understand. So that is why a good amount of study of Itihas and Puranas is also required. So these are some of the things that we have discussed till now. Uh, now, topic that I'm discussing today was touched by me in last week. The concept of Vishesha that we will be discussing now. Uh, see, Supreme Lord has many energies. Parasya Shaktir Vividaiva Shruyate Swabhaviki Jnana Bala Kriyacha. So, Supreme Lord has multiple varieties of energies. In fact, unlimited energies he has, and which are many varieties. And through these energies, knowledge, strength, and action are naturally manifested. There is no need of any special effort. Naturally, all these things are manifested, whatever is required to be manifested by his superior energy. Now, basically, these energies are divided into uh, three types of energies are there. One is material nature, one is individual soul, this para prakriti, superior energy. Then there is kshetrajna, the individual souls, and avidya karma, illusion and activity. These are the three energies that are there, which are belonging to the Supreme Lord. Supreme Lord is yesterday we discussed in Purushottam Yoga, Ksharashchakshara Evacha. Ksharas Sarvani Bhutani, Kutasto Kshara Uchate, Uttama Purushastvanya, Paramatmetyutarat, Dharata, Yoloka Trayama Vishya, Vivartya Vikshatra. Means there are two energies, one is Kshara and one is Akshara, one is fallible and one is infallible. So, just a minute, please be on it. Yeah, sorry. Uh, Sorry, there was some disturbance here. So there are two types of energies. One is Kshara and one is Akshara. One is fallible and one is infallible. And Uttama Purusha, he is superior to both the fallible and the infallible. He is superior to Mahalakshmi and individual souls. He is superior to liberated souls and conditioned souls. So anyway, he is superior. And bondage and liberation are both caused by the Supreme Lord. This is a very important point to understand, that we are bound to the material world. We are not able to overcome our attachment to the material world. It is because the Lord wants it to be like that. At the same time, when the Lord desires liberation, we will automatically be able to secure liberation. So, one important thing is that everything happens with the will of Supreme Lord. Nothing happens independent of Him. So, the Lord, when He desires bondage and He desires liberation. So, liberation is possible only by the mercy of Supreme Lord. There is no other way to get liberated from material condition. This is an important point we should understand. And this Vishnu, he is having threefold energies: Parak Shakti, Kshetrajna Shakti, and Avidya Karma, or illusory activity. So he is actually, through being the Supreme Lord, he is the Nimitta Karana of the universe. Nimitta Karana is what is that? The instrumental cause. For example, you make a pot. When we make a pot, the potter is responsible for making the pot. At the same time, mud is also there. The wheel is also there. The stick that rotates the wheel is also there. There are so many factors which make a successful pot. In that, the thing that undergoes transformation is the upadana. The thing that doesn't undergo transformation is the nimitta. So in the pot example, the potter is the nimitta. He doesn't undergo any change while the pot is formed. His form doesn't change. Whereas the mud is the upadana, its form changes. So in the process of material creation, Parabrahma is not the upadana karana, Parabrahma is the nimitta karana. The Mayavadis, they say that Sarvam Khalu Idam Brahman, everything is Brahma. So Parabrahma is the Upadana Karana, Parabrahma transforms into Prakriti. That is wrong understanding. Parabrahma can never there is no Avyaya in Parabrahma. Those who are familiar with Samskrita, what is Avyaya in Samskrita? Anybody knows?
Which doesn't undergo change of vibhaktis and all. It remains constant.
Yeah, either you use it in Striling, Pulling, Napunsakaling, either you use it in Ekavachan, Dvivachan, Bahuvachan, or you use it in any vibhaktis, the word is going to be the same. It is not going to change. Atra, Tatra, Anyatra, Sa Atra Asti, Saha Atra Asti, Saha Tatra Gatavan. In all the words, past tense, present tense, future tense, all the vibhaktis, it is going to be atra only or tatra only, anyatra only. It is not going to change. So avyaya is something which doesn't change. The Paramavyaya, the Supreme Avyaya is the Supreme Lord. He never changes. His form never changes. So to consider that Lord is the Upadana for Prakriti is a wrong understanding, because the Prakriti itself does not undergo any change. It is fixed. Whereas Purusha, he can change. Sorry, the Prakriti can change. The Purusha can, Parabrahma can never undergo any change, but Prakriti can change. So this material creation is a transformation of the Prakriti. So that is one important thing we should understand. And this Lord Hari himself, he is not composed of material elements. His form is eternal consciousness and blissful. Eternal conscious and blissful. Now, we are all alive. We can speak, we can interact. If somebody touches us, we respond. If somebody beats us, we respond. So it is because there is consciousness in the body. But body itself is dead matter. Body itself doesn't have life. Uh, Scientists can tell you that it's because of the movement of blood within the body, it's because of the pumping of the heart, it is because of the working of brain, all these things that makes us alive. But actually, all these things are running because of the presence of the soul. Without the soul, these are all dead. So there is no life actually. Whereas that doesn't happen with Supreme Lord. Supreme Lord, his body, his soul, they are not different. His whole existence is eternal, full of consciousness and completely blissful. So it doesn't undergo any change or decay or destruction. So that is the speciality of the transcendental nature of Supreme Lord Hari. In the Gopala Tapani Upanishad 1.10, it says, Sat Pundarika Nayanam Meghabham Vaidyutambaram Dvibhujam Mauna Mudradyam Vanamalina Meshwaram, Vanimalinam Ishwaram. So, meditate on Govinda, the Supreme Lord, with lotus eyes, cloud-like complexion, lightning like garments, two arms, silent mudra, and flower and the forest garland. So here it is telling that you have to meditate on the Supreme Lord Govinda, who is tending the cows. The covered boy is the supreme soul beyond material nature. I worship Govinda, the one whose form is eternity, knowledge, and bliss. So this form of Govinda or the form of Supreme Lord is actually Parabrahma. There is no different Parabrahma. The Lord himself is Parabrahma, the Supreme Absolute Truth. So, because people are not able to understand it or not able to relate it to it. Avajanati mamuda manushim tanam ashrita param bhavam ajananta mamaloka maheshwaram. So, the not so intelligent, what they think is that the Supreme Lord is having an ordinary body like us and somebody else. And one day this body will get liberated. What they don't understand is that the body and soul of the Lord are non-different from each other. They are the same thing. So that is one important thing. And that form itself is eternal. It is having full knowledge and full bliss. For example, when Lord Varahadev appeared, so Varaha means boar. It's not a great, beautiful looking animal. It's not something that everyone will be very attracted to. It's like that. So boar is not such a great animal. But when Supreme Lord took the form of a boar, that time he was looking very beautiful, very attractive. And he went into the ocean and lifted the earth. And after that, he underwent a big fight with the demon Hiranyaksha. Then all the devas are glorifying him. The whole body of his is made of yajna. The whole body of Varaha Dev is made of yajna. So we can't imagine how the supreme absolute truth is so beautiful. Actually, whatever is mentioned in Upanishads, that he is the greatest, he is the smaller than the smallest, and he is the ultimate, he is the most pure. If we actually understand the statements of Upanishads, we will never be bewildered about the pastimes of Krishna, like Ras Leela and stealing the garments of gopis and all. We will never be bewildered, because there it's speaking of absolute truth, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. He is absolute truth, full of knowledge and full of bliss, eternity. So that is a very special feature of the Supreme Lord. He is Satya, he is the Supreme Absolute Truth. Now, how can the Supreme Absolute Truth do something which is so bad? So, if we actually understand the nature of the Supreme Lord, then understanding these pastimes of the Lord becomes not so difficult. It becomes quite easy. So this Lord Hari, he is actually mm, not doing anything. He is performing his own pastimes in the spiritual world, and it is through different forms he maintains this world. So now the question is, what are those different forms? So there are Purusha avatars, Guna avatars, Leela avatars, Manvantara avatars. So many different types of avatars we have heard. So how do you understand the different forms of the Lord, different avatars of the Lord? Are they different from each other? Is someone great? Is someone small? We are accustomed to thinking that Krishna of Golok Vrindavan is the greatest, and Narayana of Vaikuntha is less than Krishna of Golok Vrindavan. So, are these things the right way to understand this point? So, all these things we have to discuss little bit. Now, uh, the Supreme Lord, it is mentioned in the Shastras that you are not supposed to find out faults in the Lord. You are not supposed to find out differences in the Lord. You should understand that the Lord is supreme absolute truth. There is no fault in him, and there is nothing wrong in him. Okay. Now that, if that is the case, then is it right to consider the different forms of the Lord to be different from each other? As I told you earlier, there was a famous Bengal poet Bankim Chandra Chatterjee. And this Bankim Chandra Chatterjee, what he did is that he wrote a book in which he popularized saying that the Krishna of Vrindavana is different from the Krishna of Dwarka, and the Krishna of Mathura is completely different from them. So each of these Krishnas are different from each other. That's how he explained. But lot of youngsters got attracted towards him, and that is why a lot of Bengali youngsters actually started thinking that the different forms of the Lord are different. Whereas here Baldev Vidyabhushan explains, and Radha Damodar Goswami explains that the Lord himself you cannot discriminate. You cannot say that the Lord, one form of Lord is more special, another form of Lord is less special. Those things you cannot say about the Supreme Lord. Now, if then, how to account for the different forms of the Lord? Are you going to say that the forms of the Lord don't exist? So for that, there is a new thing that we are going to introduce. That new thing is called Vishesha. There is a padārtha called Vishesha that is quite necessary to understand. If we understand this thing, then we will be able to understand these core concepts quite easily. Just a minute, please be online. Hare Krishna. Sorry for the disturbance. Sorry for the break. So, the whole field of tarka or logic divides the world into different padārthas. Padārthas means different elements. Padasya artha padārtha. So, we are accustomed to hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen. They are the basic building blocks. That is what we say. Whereas in this field of tarka, there is something called padārthas. Dravya, guna, karma, samanya, Vishesha, Vishishta, Amshi, Shakti, Sadrisha, Bhava, Desha Padartha. So there are 10 different Padarthas according to some say 7. Vaishnava perspective, we accept 10 different Padarthas. So Dravya, anything which moves is called Dravya. Then each of these Dravyas have special characteristics and they are called Gunas. And each of these Dravyas perform some actions. So those actions are called Karmas. So Samanya, the collective way of addressing the Padarthas, and Vishesha, there is some special way. So there are different Padarthas by which the world can be understood. Everything can be understood just with these Padarthas. Everything in the world must fall into these categories. So there is something called Vishesha. Vishesha is there everywhere. When we look things around, we see a blue chair, we see a red chair. There is something that makes one chair special than the other. There is something that makes one cloth special than the other. There is something that makes one smartphone special than other. There is something that makes one person special than the other. So everyone is having some speciality. Everyone is having some uniqueness. So the Vaisheshikas, they introduced this Vishesha Padartha to identify what the uniqueness is. Now, sometimes there is no Bheda, but there is Vishesha. There is no difference, but there is speciality. For example, there is a silk cloth. Now, you cannot separate the silk from the cloth. From the same cloth, you cannot separate silk and you cannot separate cloth. Silk cloth means silk cloth. It has to be together only. Am I right? Hare Krishna. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, bro.
Cannot separate one from the other.
Yes.
Still, when you are dealing, you identify cloth separate, you identify silk separately. Although it's the same object, but you understand that silk is the quality and the cloth is the object itself. You understand, right? Certainly there is some difference between. Similarly, when we say mud pot, it is the same pot. You cannot differentiate, but still you should understand that it's a pot and that pot is made of mud. So mud, we are dealing with something differently in the same context of the same object also. So we are not doing Bheda, but we are doing Vishesha. We are adding Visheshana. In Sanskrit, there is a concept called Visheshana. Adbhuta Purushaha, Sundara Kanya. So when we say these things, Sundara Kanya or Adbhuta Purushaha, we are adding a Visheshana to the Purushaha to qualify him. So that Visheshana brings some Vishesha. It brings some special Padartha, special identity to that. So that is the concept of Vishesha that is applied. Bheda bhavepi bheda vyavaharam vishesham. There is no difference. Even when there is no difference, if you want to differentiate, that is when you use the concept of Vishesha. That is the point here that is explaining. So wherever you don't want to discriminate or you cannot discriminate two things, you will understand Vishesha. So you will not say Bheda, you will say Vishesha. You will not say different, you will say special. That is the thing that you have to case. So in case of Narayana, you cannot accept Bheda. You cannot say that Narayana is different, Vishnu is different, Krishna is different, Rama is different, Narsimha is different. You cannot say different. It is wrong to call them different. But you can identify that they are Vishesha. There is something special in each of them. Okay, it's the same Lord. He is giving some, just like silk and cloth denote the same object. Similarly, Rama and Narsimha denote the same person. But the identification is through some speciality. Similarly, the hands of Krishna, the legs of Krishna, Angani, Yasya Saklendriya Vrittimanti, पश्यांति फन्ति कलयन्ति चिरं जगन्ति आनंद चिन्मय सज्जुज्वल विग्रहस्य गोविंदमादि पुरुषं तम. Every limb of the Krishna, of the Supreme Lord, is supreme itself. Hands are supreme, legs are supreme, everything about the Supreme Lord is supreme. But that, are we saying that then each of the parts are separate gods different from the Supreme Lord? No, 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 they are not separate gods, but they are having special quality. Arm has the quality of arm, leg has the quality of leg. They are having special qualities that makes it Vishesha and not Bhinna, not different from this. Now, suppose you don't want to accept Vishesha, then we accept Bheda. It will create anavastha dosha or infinite regression. See, let's say mud is different from the pot. Mud pot has mud, but that mud is different from the pot. Okay, let's say by some logic I prove it. Now, mud itself is red in color or black in color, whatever it is. So that red color is different from mud. Are we saying that? If you want to say red color is different from mud, then what about red color? Red color further has something. So it will, how long are we going to dig? It is going to cause an infinite regression. So if we are going to catch difference, then it is going to cause infinite regression or anavastha dosha. In the language of Tarka, it's called anavastha dosha or infinite regression. For example, we say cotton. But what does cotton contain? We say cloth. Cloth contains what? Cloth contains cotton. So, but what does cotton itself contain? Cotton itself contains some cells of cotton maybe. Now, what do they contain? They contain something else more subtle. So it just goes on regressing infinitely. There is no limit. Whereas if you accept that, oh, this is a special cloth, it's a cotton cloth, that is when understanding Vishesha becomes easy. You don't have to have anavastha dosha or infinite regression in this regard. Okay, now two objects you are comparing. When you are comparing two objects, one is Vishesha in comparison to this. Is that the understanding? No, that is not the understanding. The object, because if I have defined this as different from this, the bottle is different from maybe this bottle. Now, if I have to define this bottle, how will you define it? Will I say different from this bottle, it's different from mobile phone, it's different from wire, it's different from something else, it's different from window, it's different from air, it's different from fire? Is this the way we explain it? In reality, we don't explain it like this. If that would be the case, it would infinitely go on. Whereas we understand this is special, this bottle is special, and it reveals its own specialness on its own. I don't have to put effort to research and find out this is a bottle. It reveals itself to me that it's a bottle. So that makes it Vishesha. So Vishesha is self-descriptive and it avoids infinite regression. Now, why so much all this confusion is required? Because some Shrutis say that the Lord is absolute truth, is having one form only. He is not having varieties. Other Shrutis, they say that this form is more important, this form is less important, this form is like this, that form is like this. Like that also there are Shrutis that propose. So some of them, what they do is they accept only those Shrutis which are different. Only those Shastra Pramanas which are different. Some others, what they do is they accept only those Shastra Pramanas which are Samya, which tell about similarity. So, okay, now there are some people who are more smart. What they say is they are Bheda Bheda. Bheda Bheda means there is a differentiation and there is similarity. Both are there at the same time. But none of these actually will be able to help you understand the absolute truth, nor it will help you understand the world. This is like an analogy that is used by Radha Damodar Goswami is that is the only one water which falls on the mountain, but gradually as the water falls and starts flowing, it changes its direction and starts flowing in hundreds of different sides. So like that, if we don't accept the concept of Vishesha, we will also be falsely directed to the negatives of the material world. So that is why we have to carefully understand that Vishesha is a very precise tool to recognize spiritual diversity. The Shruti texts speak about the different dharmas, that different attributes of the absolute truth. Now, these different attributes of the absolute truth, they are not separate from Paramatma. They are not separate from Supreme Lord. Somewhere it says two-handed form, somewhere it says 10-handed form, somewhere it says Sahasra Shirsha Purush, 1,000-handed form. So there are different types of forms, and there are different type of things that are spoken about the absolute truth. So they are not different from each other. They are all the supreme ultimate Lord only, but they are understood through Vishesha. This Vishesha helps having multiple attributes within the Lord at the same time. In fact, Lord has infinite attributes. All those infinite attributes can be easily accommodated with the concept of Vishesha. Vishesha is of two types. One is Nitya Vishesha and Anitya Vishesha. Eternal distinctions. Now, individuality of souls, divine qualities, all those things, the Supreme Lord, they are all Nitya Visheshas. They never change. Anitya Visheshas are temporary. Like if suppose we get a promotion, managerial promotion, or we become PhD in something. So some things like that we will get. So they are all Anitya Vishesha. That makes us special, but that speciality only lasts for some time. It is not long term. So this is how we should understand that there are two types of Visheshas. Let's give an example. Devadatta is a person. I want to tell somebody to go and talk to Devadatta. But nobody knows who Devadatta is, how he looks like, and how to recognize him, nobody knows. So what they say, Dandi Devadatta. Go there, you will find Devadatta, he will be holding a stick and standing. So the person who holds the stick and standing, he is Devadatta. Now, Devadatta, probably the person doesn't know, but then others will be knowing, right? That so and so boy is Devadatta. Um, so, but still, we need to recognize him specially. We need to give some special attention to him. That is where what they do is they call him Dandi Devadatta. Devadatta is the man with stick in his hand. So that man with stick in his hand, that makes Devadatta special. So now you please tell me, in this example, Dandi Devadatta, what is Visheshana? What is Visheshya? Can somebody try to tell? In Dandi Devadatta, what is the Visheshana and who is the Visheshya?
Dandi is the Visheshana.
Ah,
It qualifies Devdatta. Vishesh.
yes. Now, Devadatta is a Visheshya. He is qualified by the Danda, so he becomes Dandi Devadatta. Now, when Devadatta becomes Dandi Devadatta, that Rupa is called Vishishta. It's a Vishishta Rupa. So, Danda is the Visheshana. Dandi is the Visheshana. Devadatta is the Visheshya. Dandi Devadatta together is called Vishishta, the special form of the Devadatta, which is finally manifested. So neither Devadatta nor Danda alone conveys the full identity. Just if you say Devadatta, person may not know. He may not be able to go to the village and search him. Similarly, just you say Dandi, there may be more than one people with Dandas. So when you explicitly say Dandi Devadatta, that is when the whole thing becomes complete. The special form gets manifested. Now, pot and clay are not separatable. So that is clear. So it is mud pot. When we say mud pot, so mud is the Visheshana and pot is the Visheshya. And the mud pot itself becomes the Vishishta. It becomes a special form of the pot itself. So can you give me one more example like this? All of you can, each of you please try one example each of what Visheshana is, what Visheshya is, and what Vishishta is. May not necessarily be in Sanskrit. You can try it in English also, any other.
Steel bottle.
Yes, Prabhu, steel bottle. That which is Visheshana, which is Vishesha, and what is Vishishta.
So steel is the Visheshana and
Hmm.
bottle is the Vishesha and steel bottle together is the Vishishta.
Yes, it's a special form like that. Others, Dharmeshwar Prabhu, you please try.
Prabhuji Narayana, yesterday you discussed
Uh-huh.
that Narayana, like that person who is the ashraya of all living entities,
Hmm.
like he is the Narayana. So in this Visheshana is the he is the one who is the quality of being shelter of everyone and everything, and
I beg to
Visheshana.
slightly differ on this because for samasa, there should be it's called Karmadharaya samasa or Shamarama samasa whenever there is a Visheshana Vishishta Bhava. Okay. Uh, Shvetaketu or like that, the names that are there, when there is a Visheshana and Visheshya Bhava, it's called Karmadharaya Samasa. Whereas Narayana is a Tatpurusha Samasa. So it doesn't have a Visheshana and Visheshya relationship like Dandi Devadatta. Like that, it should qualify him more. Already you're defining Narayana, the word added to it should qualify him more. It should make him more qualified. So like
Okay.
that type of examples can you try?
Okay, maybe simple example like a red color or black color mobile.
Ah. Yes, Prabhuji. So can you explain what is Visheshana, what is Vishesha?
Mobile is the Vishaya, and
Visheshya.
Visheshana is Vishishya,
Hmm.
and black color is the Visheshana,
Hmm.
and together it is Vishishta.
Yes. Yes, Prabhuji. Next, who else will try?
Prabhu,
Apurva.
can we try it with the varieties of the fruits? Like we say Kashmiri apple.
Yes, very good. Yes.
So in that,
In Kashmiri apple, what
in
is
that
Visheshana, what is Vishesha, and who is Vishishta?
Vishesha would be a apple.
Hmm.
Its form is not separable, and Vishishta would be Kashmiri. It's in Kashmir, and the
Kashmiri is
Vishishta
the
root will be
Visheshana.
Vishesha. Yes.
Yes. And Vishishta is the whole Kashmiri apple. The special apple is there, no? That makes it Vishishta. Okay?
Okay.
Yes. Guru Bhakt Prabhu, you want to try?
Bulakat.
Black cat.
Bulakat.
Bullock cart. Yes,
And
Prabhu.
bulls.
Huh.
I mean, bull is Visheshana, which and
Bullock. Hmm.
Balakat is the cart is the Visheshta. I
Visheshya.
mean, in
Cart is
Vishesha.
Visheshya.
Vishesha. Okay, cart is the Vishesha,
Ah.
and bull is the Visheshana,
And
and the
bullock
both is
cart
Visheshta.
together is Vishishta.
It's Visheshta.
Yes. Okay. Now, having understood these things, Apurva Prabhu, you have something to say?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji,
Yes,
just
Prabhu.
one in this bullock cart, but cart is one object, Vishesha, and bull, bull also can also be considered another object, right?
Yes,
So
bull
one
can be considered
another object.
object, but bullock cart, cart of the bullocks, because cart can be of horses, cart can be of elephants, cart can be of donkeys, it can be of bullock also. So that bullock cart, it qualifies the cart itself. It gives better meaning to it.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. So the idea of Visheshana is Vyavritti, to dismiss other options and just keep one option. That is why we do Visheshana. When we say blue jar, we are removing the green jar, we are removing the yellow jar, we are removing the white jar, we are just selecting the blue jar. Okay, so that is where Visheshana plays a role. Now, in the concept of Narayana, Supreme Lord, okay, so in the Supreme Lord, what we do is that we attribute Vishesha as a padārtha for Krishna or Narayana or Narasimha. Each of these forms, we add some Visheshana, the two-handed form like that. So the Vishishta Rupa, the special form, becomes Krishna. So there is no difference. One thing we should be philosophically very convinced that it's not that Krishna is greater than Vishnu or one form of the is greater than the other. They are not greater than each other. They are all same. To say that Parabrahma is one part of Parabrahma is greater than another part of Parabrahma is wrong philosophically. But Parabrahma manifests Vishesha Rupas. He manifests special forms at different situations, and all of them are equally the Supreme Lord. There is no difference in each of them. That is the thing that we have to understand through Vishesha, and it is self-descriptive. It itself reveals about itself. Okay, so Aham Atma Gudakesha Sarva Bhuta Shaya Stitha. I am the self, Gudakesha, situated in the hearts of all living beings. The Supreme Soul desired, let me be many. In the Taittiriya Upanishad, it says. So that is how the Amshas are there. Aham Brahma Asmi, I am the absolute truth. That is what the Supreme Lord says about himself. Srimad Bhagavatam says, I alone exist before the creation, nothing else, neither subtle or gross existed. After creation, I remain, and after annihilation, I alone remain. So it's the Supreme Lord who is unique, who alone is there before the creation, and who alone will remain after the final annihilation also. Hence, the Supreme Lord is non-dual. He is not having difference in each forms, but he demonstrates this Vishesha attribute by which he relates with devotees differently. The idea is that we have to relate with devotees differently. So Supreme Lord sometimes relates in Dasya Rasa, sometimes he relates in Sakhya Rasa, sometimes he relates in Vatsalya Rasa, sometimes in Madhurya Rasa. There are some forms of the Lord which are special in Madhurya Rasa, like the form of Krishna, which you might not find in the form of Vishnu. So it is not that Krishna is a bigger God than Vishnu, but he is demonstrating that Vishesha of Gopijana Vallabhatva, that Vishesha form of getting attracted to gopis in Madhurya Rasa. So that is the point we should understand. There is one more point we should understand, Aham. When we say Aham Brahmasmi, it will be discussed later on in great detail, but I'm just giving a short introduction. Aham Brahmasmi. So, I am absolute truth. It is mentioned in the Upanishads. So now, that Supreme Lord, he became many, and he is the actual I. So when we say I, Aham, Avam, Vayam, these are the three forms. Ekvachan, Bahuvachan, Ekvachan, Dvivachan, Bahuvachan. Aham, Avam, Vayam. Or in English, we say I and we. Correct? We are accustomed to saying I and we. Now it is we. We 7 members or 6 members are sitting and talking with each other. So now we are we. When the class gets over, you all will leave. I will also leave. Then finally, I will be with my family. That time also will be we. 2 people, 3 people, 4 people will be we. Now, after some time, it can happen that I go to sleep or I am left at home. At that time, I will be I alone. I will not be we at that time. I will be I. So, the nearest to oneself, that is called I. Aham. Aham, it's called. Not Vayam, Aham. So now, that is why you say Ahankara. Aham plus Kara. Ahamkara means minus. I am the doer. I am doing like this. So that ego is called Ahankara because it's minus. Means it's all about me. It's all about I. Now, when Brahma Vivahan Leela happened, for 1 year, the cowherd boys were absent. Krishna is sitting with butter in hand, eating nicely, going to enjoy with the cowherd boys. Aghasura is just killed. Now they are very hungry. They have sat and they are enjoying. All of a sudden, cows are not seen. Krishna immediately gets up. He says, don't worry, don't disturb your lunch. I will go and come. So he goes and does not find any cow anywhere. Then he comes to inform his friends, saying that cows are not found anywhere. Friends are also not there. So then he understands that this is the plan of Brahma. He is playing a trick. And this Brahma, he has to be cheated somehow. He has to be made to realize that he is playing with fire. So what Krishna did is, he manifested the form of all the cowherd boys. He manifested the form of all the cows. Means he manifested such forms that each of the cows, they had the right shape, they had the right spot at the right place, and they had the right mood. Some cows don't give milk, some cows give milk, some cows are old, some cows are young, some cows are pregnant. So many varieties of cows as it is he manifested Krishna. Then this cowherd boys. One cowherd boy is black, one cowherd boy is white, one is short, one is tall, one is angry, one is very humorous. So many varieties are there. All the varieties as it is. These boys carry stick in the forest. They get some stick and they carry. The sticks are bent in a particular way. This is random in nature. Every stick is bent differently in different places. So exactly that cowherd boy held that stick, so that same stick got manifested. Everything was replicated as it is. And Brahma went 1 year later, he came back and he saw everything is as it is. There is no shortage, nothing. And parents started loving their own children more. They started liking their children very much. In fact, the mothers whose children were just born, they would not feed them milk, but they would feed these boys milk. Same with the cows. They would be more interested in feeding milk to these elder calves than the younger calves. Balram was bewildered. He was thinking, what is happening? I have not seen. Is there any ghostly attack that has happened? Then Krishna tells him that all these things that have happened. Finally, Brahma realizes, he comes, he prays, and he leaves the cows back, and the cowherd boys are sitting there. Krishna brings the calves, and after Krishna brings the calves, the cowherd boys are asking, "Oh Krishna, you came back so early." For them, it was like he is telling, "Wait, I will bring the cows back. You all continue eating." Krishna goes and just brings the cows back, and they are surprised he comes back. So they have no idea that 1 year has elapsed in between. So that is the extraordinary Leela he demonstrated, Krishna. So Parikshit Maharaj asks a question that how it is possible? You see, everyone has attraction towards their own children. Everyone has attraction towards their family members. Everyone naturally feels love for their people. How is it that 1 year somebody else's child is there at home and they are feeling it as my child? So how it is possible? I'm not able to understand. Then Shukadeva Goswami very beautifully answers. He says that why you are attracted towards your children, it is because of your ego that it is my child, it is mine. So you identify with that, that is why you are attracted. But what is that what is that I means somebody who is closest to this body, closest to my existence, and my soul is closest to me. That is why, because my soul is closest to me, it is non-different from me, I identify that soul as mine. And so I identify everything associated with that soul as I. Now, Supreme Lord is inconceivably closer to us than the soul itself. So it is inconceivable. We can't understand that. So even when we are in a lonely room, Supreme Lord is still with us. Even when we go to sleep, when we are in deep sleep, Supreme Lord is still with us. So actually sleep for Panditas, for Jnani, sleep is a yajna. It is mentioned in Prashna Upanishad that when we sleep, we are breathing. So this ahuti of the Vayu is offered in Agni, it seems. So that way, the sleep itself is a yajna for self-realized souls. That is what is mentioned in Prashna Upanishad. So even when we are sleeping, we are actually offering ahuti to the Yajna Purusha, Narayana. So he is closest to us. So the real ahankara is to identify the Supreme Lord with ourselves. So he is mine. So I am connected to him. That is the real ahankara. That is the real minus. So the actual I is the Supreme Lord. And then comes the Atma, I, myself. So this is a complex subject to understand. So that is what there is aham. There is also called ahaha. Ahaha is another form of the Lord, but aham is this form of the Lord. His name is, he's special. So the real I-ness comes from the Supreme Lord. He is the real aham. So that is why Aham Brahmasmi, I am the absolute truth. In one way, you should understand that it is the soul who is myself. In another way, you should understand that it is, I am speaking of the Supreme Lord whom I am connected to, whose Amsha I am, whom I am related to. So that is why the real Aham comes there. So I understand it is a slightly difficult topic. You have any questions associated with that? Please let me know. Otherwise, we'll move ahead. This Vishesha and Aham, these two topics, any questions associated with that?
Prabhu,
Yes, Prabhu.
like when we say silk cloth, so silk is the Visheshana of cloth. So if you compare with another cloth, like there is a silk cloth and there is simply a cloth. So so can we say that they are the same? Both the cloths are same, and because they could be different. So
see, first of all, they are kept in different places. That is the minimum one thing which makes them different. Second thing is they would have been manufactured at different times. That also makes it different. Colors may be different. Even if you get the same color, same cloth manufactured at the same time, still they are at two different places. So that way at least they are different. And if one is silk and one is cotton, anyway they are different. You are identifying something special in one. So when you are identifying something special in one, that makes it Vishesha. Is that okay?
Yes, yes, bro.
Anything else?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
So the individual soul is very intrinsic in nature to the Supreme Soul or to the Supreme Lord. So it is very it is very related to easy to, but at the same time the individual soul is also individual in its nature.
Yes, yes.
So I mean that aham is very difficult to comprehend.
Yeah, it is achintya. It's not possible for our intelligence to understand. We are completely different from the Lord. We are not at all related to the Lord. It means we are not Lord at all. We are completely different from Him, no doubt about it. We are dependent on Him. He is the master and we are dependent on Him. That is also true. But still, when I say aham, that aham can refer to the Supreme Lord because He is very close to the soul. How it is so close to the soul, it's too difficult to understand. It's not conceivable. That is why even if you leave the whole world for the Lord, you are not at loss because He is the real our person. He is the real well-wisher. He is the closest to us. That is, you see, their own children they left, but they are liking the Lord. More than own children, they are liking the Lord more. Why it is happening like that? Because that itself indicates that He is more close.
Yes, yeah.
Any other questions related to these two before we move ahead? Yes,
you spoke about Vishesha and Vishishta, and also you spoke about Narayana. How these are connected to each other?
So when you say different
I mean, how
Narayana, you should never say that one is superior to the other. There is no relationship of superior and inferior. They are all equal. Just like silk cloth is one, Narayana and Vishnu or Krishna, Rama is one. There is no difference. It is just our identifying factors that we identify special forms of each of them.
Yes, please, correct. And also, just to add one point, in Bhagavatam purports also, Prabhupada sometimes mentions that Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, this observation.
Yes, correct.
Prabhupada
Everywhere it is defined as Sri Bhagwan Vacha only for all the different forms.
Yes.
Apurva Damodar Prabhu, you had some point.
Yes, so Prabhuji, Srila Prabhupada in Bhagavad Gita's 18th chapter purports, he mentioned, right, that you should even abandon thinking about the Narayana forms also and only focus on the Krishna form. So, if there is no difference, then why we should only focus on one form? Any form we can focus and think as Krishna. Then why does Srila Prabhupada stress on this point?
Just a minute, I am opening that.
Yes.
You have reference to that?
I think so. This is Manmana Shlokas purport.
Manmana Vaman Bhakto. Just a minute. Yeah, it is very interesting. We should discuss this. 18.65, correct?
Yes, sir.
One should fix his mind on the original form of Godhead Krishna. One should not even divert his attention to the other forms of the Lord. The Lord has multi forms as Vishnu, Narayana, Rama, Varaha itself. But a devotee should concentrate his mind on the form that was present before Arjuna. Concentration of the mind on the form of Krishna constitutes the most confidential part of the knowledge. And this is disclosed to Arjuna because Arjuna is the most dear friend of Krishna. So now, getting back to the 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So, 11th chapter is the universal form. So, once the Virat Rupa universal form is described, then Krishna demonstrates the 400 form. And then he demonstrates the 200 form. When he demonstrates the 200 form, he says that this is actually more rare. Okay, I have given you Divya Drushti, I have given you the divine eyes to see the Virat Rupa. But then, what you are saying of divine eyes, the 400 form is even rare than the Virat Rupa. And still more divine eyes are required to see the 200 form. It's more special. And those divine eyes are manifest through devotion. So when we develop devotion, we get attracted to this form and the different rasas by which we can do adana pradana with this form. So now here, when Prabhupada summarizes that point here, he is telling that this Vishesha form of Krishna is easily attained through Bhakti Rasa. There is no difference between the two of them. But the devotee who by practice of bhakti meditates on the 200 Vishesha form, so he should have an attention to that special form because that will help him actually progress in devotion. That is the understanding here. It's not creating a superior or inferior between the forms.
But bro, we have heard like this also. If we concentrate on Krishna, then we have more chance to go to Goloka. If we concentrate on Vishnu, then you will go to the Loka where Vishnu
Yeah,
is
because
there.
every devotee is different. No, if you see Hanuman, he is not interested in concentrating on the Krishna form of the Lord. He is more interested in concentrating on the Rama form of the Lord. So every devotee has a Vishesha Akarshana, Ishta Devata. So he has a special form of the Lord to which he will be attracted to. So if we concentrate on Krishna form of the Lord and if we are able to actually going to Goloka is not, any form of liberation is not easy. It's too difficult. But if we are able to really perfect our life and reach that stage where we are going to Krishna by meditating on his form, we'll definitely get that Vishesha Rupa, and that Vishesha Rupa will allow us to serve that form in Vaikuntha. So it's all Vishesha. Still, we are not discriminating, saying that one form is superior and one is not.
Okay, bro.
Liberation is attained by surrender to Hari, who alone can dispel Maya. The Supreme Lord is accessible to the liberated souls, not to the impersonal relation, but through devotional surrender. This is very important, that ultimately that devotion is required. Amala Bhakti Sat Sadhanam. Without pure devotion, there is no question of attainment of Lord Hari. There is no question of attainment of Supreme Lord. So Bhakti is the only means of Mukti. There is no other way. So it is very important to understand that this devotional surrender to the Lord is required. There are different forms of the Lord. Some are 200, some are 400, some are 1,000-handed, Sahasra Shirsha Purusha, Sahasraksha, Sahasrapat, it says about 1,000 hands. Then Aneka Vaktra Nayanam, Anekadbhuta Darshanam, the Virat Rupa says unlimited hands, unlimited heads, unlimited bodies. So these are not different again. Again also the distinction appears because of Vishesha. So here a very nice example Radha Damodar Goswami gives of Vaidurya gem. There is some gem called Vaidurya. It reflects multiple colors simultaneously. So if you take that gem, actually multiple colors crop out of it, because at the same time it is taking different colors and is reflecting them. Similarly, eternally the Lord manifests different forms at the same time. It's not that one form is created, another form is created after some time, another form is created after some time. No, multiple forms. That is why this idea in Vaikuntha that only Narayana form exists in Vaikuntha and all other avatars are temporary manifestations in the material world, that is not the right understanding. The right understanding is that even in Vaikuntha, eternally these different forms of the Lord are manifest. Interestingly, Jiva Goswami mentions something else. Not only in Vaikuntha, even in the material world, the Lord forms of the Lord are eternally manifested somewhere or the other. Here, for example, even now, in some of the planets, in some of the universes, Krishna Leela is going on. Varaha Leela is going on. Narsimha Leela is going on. Eternally different Leelas are going. Even within Krishna Leela, Bala Leela is different, Kaumar Leela is different, Pauganda Leela is different. Each of these Leelas are eternally manifesting in some or the other universe somewhere. What happens when there is a dissolution, when there is pralaya? When there is pralaya and before the beginning of the new creation, Jiva Goswami says that the Lord, just to manifest these Leelas, he creates something else and somewhere else and there he manifests. So Lord is having unlimited potency, he can do it. Something we cannot understand it. So these Leelas are eternally going on in the spiritual world. The forms and the pastimes are eternally going on in the material world also. So Neha Nasti Kinchana, this Vedanta Brihadaranyaka Upanishad shloka cannot be wrong. Neha Nasti Kinchana, each form is not having the slightest difference from other. You cannot say that one is different and another is different. There is no slightest difference between each of them. All of them are equally Supreme Lord. So whatever we describe, the important point we should understand is that whenever we study about the different forms of the Lord, whenever we study about the different incarnations, okay, sometimes we come across these statements which apparently show one form is separate from the other. Neha Nasti Kinchana, you must maintain this sutra because it's a Shruti mantra, it cannot be wrong. You must explain it in a way that Neha Nasti Kinchana is not proved wrong. And that is possible only with the use of Vishesha. Yes, Dharmeshwar Prabhu, you can ask.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Yes,
Prabhuji, some incarnation or some forms of the Lord appear to be circumstantial. For example, Varaha avatar. So Varaha avatar came not to save the Bhudevi and all. Now this particular incarnation, the Lord in which the Lord has appeared, it is basically it can be circumstantial also. How can that form be existing in the Vaikuntha planets, Prabhuji, eternally?
Sanatana Goswami explains that there are 6 different forms of Varaha that have appeared till now in this Brahma's lifetime. In the initial part of this Kalpa, it was Shvet Varaha Kalpa. So Shvet Varaha appeared, white colored boar appeared to lift the earth. Similarly, later on Rakta Varaha, red colored boar appeared. So like that, there are many other forms. So Lord appears in different circumstances, just like Krishna appears once in a day of Brahma. Rama appears a few times in a day of Brahma. So similarly, different avatars appear at different times. They do different functions. It's not that they do the same function once again and again. So somewhere else there is probably a requirement for Lord Varaha to appear and demonstrate some leelas which we are not aware.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhuji, we have heard that Lakshmi wanted to, be a part of a Rasa Leela of Krishna, and she performed a lot of tapasya. And we might understand, like, she was already attracted to Narayana form, but still she got more attracted to Krishna's form. And similar things, like we saw gopis, sometimes and with them Narayana form was exhibited, but they were not at all interested in the Narayana form. They wanted the Krishna form only. And third point is, our acharyas, they are also kind of telling us to only focus on Krishna, not any other form or any other mantra or any other Rishadev. So it is confusing in that sense, that if we have to focus on only any of the form, then it might be like, like you gave the example of Hanumana. So, like, he might discover that he likes the Ram form or some this form. So why in our preaching we are taught that we have to only try to love Krishna because he's the supreme personality of Godhead, he's the Adi Purusha. It should be like, we can, like, if it was a case, if there's no difference. So this is what is confusing me, bro. You understood my question, bro?
Yes, I understood your question. So, you see, okay, we saw one quote of Prabhupada here where he says that you focus on the two-handed form of Krishna. There is elsewhere also quotes of Prabhupada which says that you should not differentiate between the forms of Krishna also. That is also mentioned there. You should not for differentiate on the two. And Prabhupada in one Radhashtami lecture actually criticizes Bankim Chandra Chatterjee for saying that the different leelas of Krishna, they are different Krishnas who are manifesting. So these things, this Neha Nasti Kinchana, Prabhupada has also, he has not used the same word, but he has also protected that sutra elsewhere. So regarding the Lakshmi, of course, Lakshmi Tattva we'll discuss tomorrow. It will be more clear. But regarding Lakshmi in the next class, but regarding Lakshmi and this, what is that? The gopis getting attracted to a particular form or something like that. It is because of Vishesha, because they are in Madhurya Leela. Being in Madhurya Leela, the gopis are attracted to the Vishesha form, the Vishishta form of Gopijana Vallabha. So that form they are attracted to. So the Narayana doesn't generate the same amount of attraction because of the Vishishta Rupa that they are attracted to. Similarly, Lakshmi definitely wants to experience the Vishesha Rupa of Gopijana Vallabha Krishna, who is engaged in Rasa Leela. So that doesn't mean that his status is lowered. Even if you see in our system of deity worship, we are always, even if we have Radha Krishna, we are supposed to worship in the form of Lakshmi Narayana. Means we are supposed to have that awe and reverence. We are supposed to worship in a reverential mood, and Nectar of Devotion clearly tells that there are many rules. It's not like Bhagavata Vidhi where we are completely on the transcendental platform of worshipping the Lord. Raganuga Bhakti, no. We don't speak lie before the deities. We don't talk loudly before the deities. We don't fight before the deities. We don't take a vow in front of the deities. There are so many rules that Rupa Goswami has framed in the Nectar of Devotion. It is because all these are rules for worshipping the Lakshmi Narayana form of the Lord. So even in ours also, when it comes to deity worship, we are still not directly worshipping Radha Krishna. Radha Krishna rules are completely different. There is very much formal love and affection while dealing with them. But for us, deity worship, we are not encouraged like that. So some of these, we have to tread with caution also. Yes, it is true that the 200 form is more special than the 400 form that we'll discuss here. Okay, when I say this, when I read this, it will become clear. The manifestation and non-manifestation of potency is the cause of distinction between original form and expansion, amshi and amsha. The distinction is not substance, but in degree of potential revealed. There is a Vishesha-based distinction, not a Bheda. So, there is amsha and amshi. Sky is there. So, there is no differentiation in the sky. But still, what we say, left part of the room, right part of the room, top of the room, bottom of the room. So we use some terminologies to create special sections within the room also. So there are different amshas of the same room. Room is the amshi and there are different amshas. So similarly, there is one Supreme Lord Krishna. Whereas there may be different amshas, there may be different ways to specially identify certain forms like Narayana or this. Actually, they are all the same. But there is a way in which verbally or in terms of identification, we identify them as special. So, Laghu Bhagavatamrita actually Rupa Goswami describes this concept of Amsha and Amshi. So that is why when we speak of Vishnu having 60 qualities and Krishna having 64 qualities, it is not that Vishnu became less God and Krishna became more God. It is just that the degree in which the potential is revealed, Narayana doesn't reveal the Madhurya form or Paraki Rasa. He doesn't reveal the Venu Madhuri or Leela Madhuri. He doesn't, or Rupa Madhuri. He doesn't reveal that which is revealed in the Krishna form. So that makes that form Vishesha, but it's not different. That is the understanding we have. Neha nasti kinchana. This theme we have to protect in whatever it is. However you interpret it, but this theme must be protected. This one sutra we should always remember. Is that clear?
Yeah, Prabhuji, somewhat it is clear. But like
No,
Prabhuji,
it is not within our chintana. One thing we should understand that we cannot understand this whole thing. It is beyond our chintana. We cannot logically completely understand this. But at the same time, we should not do the mistake of saying that we are going to Golok Vrindavan, something very superior, and others are just going to Vaikunta, something less. All these thoughts are there. That is why we should tread with caution. They are all Neha Nasti Kinchana. There is no difference in each of them.
and Prabhuji, I have heard that in our parampara, while I was reading that why we should not worship Laddu Gopal. So there, one argument I read that because in our parampara, our acharyas were focused on the Radha Madhav form. So that is why we should only be focused upon Radha Madhav form. Otherwise, that form is also like Krishna Bal Leela form is also okay. But so is it the case like that, Prabhu? Even though there is no difference between any of the form, but since our acharyas have propagated our worship in a certain way, so we are following that. Like we heard Rupa
Yeah,
Goswami.
that is, one is attracted towards a Vishesha form, or one parampara connects one towards a Vishesha form. So that's how we understand it.
Okay, means this is correct, right? We might not differentiate, but we are just following our acharyas the way they are trying to do.
Yes.
Otherwise, we are. Okay.
Yes. Yes. Any other questions in this regard?
So one point I heard that this specific attraction to a particular wishes or form of the Lord, it gets revealed once one comes to the platform of pure devotional service or something. Before that, we should not differentiate. So, is it?
Yeah, which Vishesha revealed at the time of liberation, or when is in the highest level of what is that, devotion, peak of devotion. So definitely we follow the Pancharatra Vidhi or Vaidika Vidhi or the Bhagavata Vidhi, which is ordained to us in our Diksha. When we take initiation, our spiritual master gives us a system of worship. And then there is a sampradaya to be followed. Sanatana Goswami even mentions that individual sampradayas can vary based on their family tradition also. So these sampradayas we have to continue faithfully. What is our Swarupa, that is going to take a lot of time to reveal. Its project back to Godhead is not a one lifetime project. Of course, what Prabhupada says, perfect your life within this life, this is perfect within your life and go back to Godhead. That is creating a sense of urgency. Athato Brahma Jignasa. We show how many lifetimes we have wasted. At least now we should not waste time. We should immediately work on self-realization. But what we are focusing is not on I have to work on self-realization. What we are focusing is that, oh, he is telling we have to go back to Godhead, means I am going back to Godhead. I already think that I am on that path and very soon I will go back to Godhead. But no, Is not, it completely depends on the mercy of the Lord. Whenever the Lord is merciful, that time only it's going to happen. From our side, we should have the sense of urgency. That is why this is there. Otherwise, it's going to take a lot of time. It's not easy.
Yes, Prabhu. Prabhu, one more thing. In one of the quotes you showed today, it was said that Lord created himself. Taittiriya Upanishad. So, what will this mean? Lord created himself. Before you started the Vishesha concept, just before that it came.
Let us see. Vishesha is first. The Supreme Soul created himself by himself. It is mentioned in Tadatmanam Swayam Akurat. Akurata. Tadatmanam Swayam Akurata. I have to look into the bhashya of this pose. What I can say something by my speculation, by my limited understanding, but I will look into the bhashya of this and get back to you.
It's true. Some more questions were there from previous session, Proof. 2-3 questions.
Okay, let me just get back to everyone else. On today's class, anybody has any questions? Else we'll continue with the previous ones. Anybody has any questions from today's class? No. Yes, Prabhuji, you can continue.
Yes, Proof. So you told that like about mantra. You told that like mantras like Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. It contains pranava also and Chaturthi also. So can only Dvijas chant those mantras, or Om Namo Narayana, like something like that?
Yes, so the ideal standard is that only Dvija Purushas have to chant it. If you see, even in traditional Vaishnava Sampradayas, Brahmana Sampradayas, everywhere, Stris are given without the Omkara, and even Shudras also. Without the Omkara, they are given the mantras. Yes, Prabhu, so that is the understanding.
Okay, Prabhu. And another is that the Puranic statements which differ from Shrutis, like which claim that the deity mentioned in that Purana is the greatest. So what is the actual reason because of which they present like that?
So, multiple reasons for that. One reason is that Vedas have to cater for a wide variety of audience. And some of them really want to get bewildered. They don't want to accept the supremacy of the Lord. So, they really want temporary gain. They really want material happiness, or they want these things. So, at least let those people take shelter of Shastras. Let them get punya of studying the Shastras. That is one reason why it is bewildering. Similarly, sometimes the Supreme Lord himself comes as Buddha and gives something which is anti-Vedic. Why he does that? Because studying the Veda Shastras is punya. It leads us to great benefits. Whereas some ayogi jivas, some ineligible souls, they can take advantage of it. That is why, to keep them away from this, he gives such bewildering philosophies also, like Buddhism. So Lord has multiple plans due to which he gives these varieties. It is mentioned in Skanda Purana that Narayana instructed Shiva to create Shastras which are bewildering. There are so many. At one place it's mentioned that if you chant the name of Narayana, you have to wash your mouth. At another place it is mentioned that once what happened is Brahma and Narayana were both trying to search for the Supreme. Brahma started going up and Narayana started going down of Linga. And as Brahma went up, he was not able to find the top of the Linga. And as Narayana went down, he was not able to find the bottom where the Linga ends. So in this way, they were all completely confused and they surrendered to the Linga. So such statements are also there in Puranic Shastras, but they are all to bewilder the people who don't want pure devotion.
Jesus.
But Prabhu, can't we say these statements are true? Because they are in Puranas?
Yeah, you see, Shastras you cannot just dismiss. It should be in line with Vedas. That is when we accept it. There might be powerful people who can interpret this to understand the Supreme Lord only. Okay, that could be there. But for common man, whenever you find such risky things, better Shruti only is to be accepted. That is how we apply it.
Okay.
So one more thing about regarding the reference for like conflict resolution. You told no, like when there is a conflict between smritis, then we have to see which is in line with Shruti. So is there some particular reference from where we can say that see here it's written that like this we should do conflict resolution or something?
Yes, so there is a book called Katha Lakshana written by Madhvacharya, which beautifully explains all these things, how conflict resolution is done. So I will selected quotes from that I will share in the group gradually in some time. So it will help.
Okay, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes,
I have a small like doubt regarding this nimitta and upadana karma. Prabhuji, generally our understanding is that from the point of view of Bhagavad Gita, that we are not the doers, we are just the nimitta matra, just like Arjuna did the battle. In this context, so we are not the actual person who is doing. We are just nimitta. We are just the instrument. That means this nimitta has the very lesser importance, right? Than the doership itself. Now, when we apply this particular principle with respect to the Lord Narayana, the Supreme Lord, is nimitta, and the cause of and the creation itself is upadana karana. In this example, if we understand that he is just the nimitta, and the creation, the material world, for example, is upadana karana. So then how we can understand that the Supreme Lord himself is just the nimitta for the cause of creation?
No, nimitta can be on in different contexts, in different situations. In one context, nimitta means that the person engaged is actually making the change. Okay. Yeah, that is the context here, that when the material world is created, the Krishna's energies are themselves creating the change. So Krishna through his energy is operating and he is bringing the changes there. So that way he is the nimitta. Whereas when you say nimitta matra bhava sabyasachi, the idea is that there is no upadana. Upadana is actually prakriti still. Even in this case, upadana is prakriti because Lord has already done the change. Actually, Lord is himself the nimitta karana for all the killing of this. But here Arjuna should be the secondary nimitta with the idea that he should be engaged in practical war for the sake of yajna to purify himself. For his purification, he has to engage in practical war. So that is where he became the secondary nimitta. Actually, the primary nimitta is the Lord only because he has already created the change. So nimitta is always referred to in the superior sense only.
Okay. Thank you.
So one of the questions can be explain the concept of Vishesha and how it applies to Narayana. It can be a 5 marks question. You can note down. Explain the concept of Vishesha and how it applies to Narayana. And establish Vishnu's supremacy through the Shruti and through the Shastras. So one more 5 mark question. Establish Vishnu's supremacy through the Shruti or through the Shastras. Another is explain the concept Sarva Shabda Vachakatvat. Explain the concept Sarva Shabda Vachakatvat. That is one more question for today. Yeah. So these are the questions that are there for yesterday and today. Previous weeks, I was traveling at the time, so I will separately send it to you. Okay, if there is nothing else, then we'll wind up for today. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। हरे कृष्ण।
Thank you, Bruce.
हरे कृष्ण।
Thank you.
हरे कृष्ण।